10 seconds remaining. Radiant team back.
All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the China Dota 2 Supermajor. Day number 2 action coming at you. And we got yet some more group stage matches, of course, that are happening. This happening to be a Group C matchup, as we got the final tribe going up against Team Secret here in this best of 3. So welcome to the stream, guys. I'm Breaky CPK. Going to be joined by Fluff once again as my co-caster. This is our only best of 3 here today on this stream at least, but I'm definitely damn excited that this happens to be the one that we get to cast. I really think this could have potential to not only go the distance, but be very entertaining, and hopefully you guys are looking forward to it as well. I know my co-caster Fluff is looking forward to it. How you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing really well. This is going to be a really great match. I always love watching Secret games. You literally never know what they're going to do, whether it's like Phoenix mid or what, but it's always going to be really fun. And we've been following this Final Tribe team for a long time, as well as, you know, watching their tournament run qualifying to this event. And, you know, they're actually quite good teams. So, you know, teams often underestimate them. I think one of the other tournaments they went to, I think it was GEC Jakarta.
Yeah.
They actually upset a couple teams there. So definitely a formidable opponent for Team Secret.
Absolutely. Definitely skill across the board. So, again, expecting a good matchup here. Now, we got an IO first pick, though, coming out from Secret. The Warlock Death Proper Response. There's an Ember Spirit, mid one, definitely known for playing a bit of that hero. Out for Secret now. So, this is a quick start to the draft. What do you think, Fluff?
Yeah, IO, undisputably one of the best heroes on this patch. Just so many buffs coming into him. Like, even though you pick it in the first phase, he's just such a good hero for the meta in general. Mainly because it's a lot of dual lanes, and Wisp is the king of those. He's always offering that turn potential, but just overall in the draft, it's very flexible. I love to see IO paired up with the heroes that benefit from his level 15 talent, where he grants the Aghanims effect towards your carry. Some of the best carries in that position would be the Gyrocopter and the Luna, namely. Just benefiting so much from that effect, but we'll see. It's not always a requirement, so but I love to see that the most. Ember Spirit. Ember can also be played in both the safe lane and the mid, so it's a little ambiguous here, but I have seen this matchup. I know that Ember into the DP mid, you will struggle to, you know, against the harassment. You usually don't have too much kill potential, but he will get what he needs, maybe like 3/4 of the CS you would expect in like a pretty good matchup, and he'll get the levels, which is really what the hero needs overall. The Warlock, just a really solid hero right now. Fatal Bonds into the IO can be a big problem. So I love that, like, kind of counter picking type of style. But yeah, overall, just a great hero. I think a lot of teams are taking Virtus Pro's example, you know, solo playing the Warlock to much success. So definitely not surprised to see the hero.
Bans to follow, one more ban to go before that third pick will be happening here. But definitely agree with the Warlock. He's kind of one of these heroes that almost just jumped out of nowhere, it feels like. You know, Sark is another one of those heroes that, yes, maybe some buffs here and there, but it's just like all of a sudden now he's a top-tier core, right? Where Warlock is the same example in that support role. He's always had that very good ultimate, goes without saying, but you're talking about the Fatal Bonds. And also that Shadow Word in the laning phase is proving to be one of the better tools from a support hero, both for harassment as well as healing your core when necessary.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll see what they go third pick, though.
So right now, because they did choose to pick up the Warlock as a support, they will be lacking that initiation. So I would expect, and this is Jonasum's fans' style, is to play those aggressive initiating type 3 positions. Even when a lot of the utility heroes like the Pit Lord and all that, you know, the Crimson Guard pipe heroes are being picked up, Jonas was always picking those initiators like Sand King and Legion Commander. So I would definitely expect him to pick something along those lines. But that does free up your support to be more of this team fight hero like a Silencer or Warlock. So I do like it for their style. It's important to note that Death Prophet, if she does land the Silence on Ember Spirit, that can be quite annoying. But Embers do these days build into the Yules, you know, more than 60% of the time. So that's going to be his response to that. However, also if DP Yules the Ember during his Flame Guard, it will dispel him. So that's something he also needs to be aware of. So yeah, we want to see some catch on Final Tribe. I like the bans a lot from Secret. The Legion Commander is Jonas fans one of his favorite heroes, and then the Nyx as well. Just you use the Carapace into the Flame Guard and Ember, you stun him out. hit the impale right off the top, and then that's just very good. And speaking of lockdown, there is a Wind Ranger pickup. However,
Radiant
Wind Ranger is
team
not the
pick.
best lockdown for Ember because it's not as reliable.
It seems like a decent idea against an IO Ember, for example, right? Where the Shaco Shot could
Mhm.
line up more naturally with that IO nearby. So maybe that's some of the thinking as well. With that Wind Ranger.
Yep.
Vengeful Spirit coming out right away from Secret, though.
So yeah, I love Vengeful as a hero, but she suffers a lot from having a weak laning phase. So
10
when you do
seconds
see this
remaining.
Vengeful, you generally see more of a counter pick type core in the lane
5
just for
seconds
the
remaining.
security of the lane against the offlaner. She doesn't offer all too much in terms of harassment. She just mostly sets up for kills. But her utility in the mid and late game stages is just so high that you can justify that on a team just as a drafter. It's also important to know that Final Tribe is the last pick overall. There aren't that many cheesy heroes left in the game. Like, to be honest, like you don't see Meepos busted out or Alchemist anymore or Broodmother. So second pick is not all that important. And we did see a lot of teams. We saw yesterday that um, in our series, the team who was it? It was
Who did we cast? We only cast
yeah,
on one
it's
match.
it feels like
It was
really
TNC versus VP. That's right. Virtus Pro. We had the
yeah
huge break there and everything. So, but yes, that's theirs.
VP chose Radiant every single time, regardless if they won the flip or not. So that kind of just shows
Yeah.
that people aren't really respecting second pick. I do believe that second pick was one of the priority slots beforehand when a lot of those cheese heroes were in circulation. But at the moment,
Team
first pick has a lot of
Secret's turn
advantages
to
going
pick.
for them. Like in this example, so we as Final Tribe, you have to show a core first, and they do choose to show their hard carry. So now that they see that Secret can respond however they feel appropriate. So against the Sark, a lot of times, the supports are like the main counters, like Disruptor. So that's part of the reason why they felt safe to pick
10
it.
seconds
I think
remaining.
right now they're going to decide on what offlaner they want to put into the Sark. So there's a lot
5
of heroes that are
seconds
really annoying,
remaining.
like Axe, for example. Um,
Maybe like Doom is still there.
Doom. Yeah, Doom is quite annoying as well. They can pick a lot of different things here.
Yeah.
It's just that's kind of the disadvantage of the second pick, which is that you always have to show first in the second phase. So they're no matter what, Secret's going to see at least two cores before they end up rounding out their lineup.
Are you sold that this is going to be a support Vengeful, or could it definitely still be an Ace Vengeful, for example?
Radiant team
I
back.
hate it if it was. Oh my god, this is what the Secret we know and love. They pick a Necrolite. Oh my god.
You don't seem happy, and that's not a hero we see right now in competitive play.
I just don't see it matching up all too well against a lot of these heroes. I mean, the easiest hero for him to kill is basically the support heroes. Generally, I like to
10
see this when
seconds
he just crushes the safe lane on its own. This leaves him to
5
susceptible
seconds
to a couple
remaining.
different offlaners, like a Puck, for example, could be really annoying.
Team Secret's
Because you would never
turn
catch
to
him out.
ban.
He can CS pretty fine, and he has the magic to burst through your Ghost Route. But just thinking along those lines, you would want to pick something now from the Final Tribe that would crush Necro and lane. Then that'll be a big problem because if you don't have the guaranteed matchup, I mentioned that Vengeful Spirit is quite a weak laning support. So you would either have to have the IO represent or
10 seconds
yeah. But
remaining.
actually, you know what? This could be the classic offlane IO
5
Necrolite.
seconds remaining.
I think that's
The
something
classic? Is that really a classic?
Yeah. Oh, it is a classic, definitely. It's
Okay.
something that went back to. I remember Eternal Envy running this a lot. Possibly even on Secret with Puppy. I'm not quite sure about that, but when you tether the Necrolite and then he throws out the Death Pulse a lot of times in reaction,
Oh, true.
you are healing double. And this is something that's really, really annoying because you can sustain Super 1 the lane. Necrolite as an offlaner, I like it way more than if it was the carry because they have some serious issues in terms of physical damage. I mean, yes, they can kill heroes, but if with this lineup, if they choose to pick another offlaner hero, besides like picking a physical carry, they will have issues ending the game. They will have to accrue such a massive advantage to even think about winning the game. So I really do think this might be an offlane Necro, or at least an IO Necro pairing.
Okay. TFT seems like they almost have that idea as well because they actually ban out the Bloodseeker, which is great against Slark, for example. So along those lines, they still need the Ace hero. We'll see what Secret decides to ban here. Speaking of TFT, again, they mentioned that final pick, potentially that off lane. I know Jonas Fan does play a fair amount of Magnus. I know he's not the most popular hero right now in competitive play necessarily, but that could potentially be something to think about. They ban Axe, though. does Secret.
See, I think Magnus would just in
Radiant
general with
team
Slark could be
pick.
pretty good, but I think they're thinking
Faceless
more along like
void.
how they will counter Team Secret out.
You
Oh
may
my
now
god, what?
select your
Whoa.
heroes.
Okay, so
Quite the
he's
finish.
playing offlane Wind Ranger then. And that's
Wait, what? No, it's Pablo Wind
Ooh.
Ranger. Arrow Medusa and Jonas and Fan will play Death
Ah.
Prophet offlane? Okay.
okay. Well, that's quite interesting. Death Prophet offlane is not very common, but I know some people like to practice in pubs, including S4. So there's definitely some viability and Mu as well. I mean, offlane DP, I didn't really see a good reason to put in offlane, but I guess they felt that this is a really good Medusa game, which I definitely agree that like there's not really a good counter to it. One thing that Medusa doesn't want to be afraid of is the vengeful swap in the
10
late game scenarios
seconds
where you're
remaining.
sieging high ground. You could swap you into to pretty much the tier 5s, and then yeah, that's a big issue. Tier 4s. I never like to see Void carry in general, but as a carry into Slark, it's quite good. You can always lock him down regardless of his ultimate or not. And a lot of times that just gives you enough room to set up another disable or just have the fall through damage. I do think that it was a very nice ban on the Bloodseeker from Final Tribe. If Secret did pick up the Bloodseeker on that fourth pick, it could have been pretty devastating.
Yeah.
But they did. It seemed like they really wanted this Void. Like usually, you don't, snap pick it that quickly unless you had a plan.
Well, the Medusa was really
was-
snap picked. I mean, that happened. It's like they didn't even care what they final picked on Secret
Yeah.
side. They just went Medusa right after. So, I got some questions for you though, Fluff. Definitely one that's really standing out to me is this Faceless Void pick. Again, the final pick. The idea, I'm thinking about it, and going up against a Medusa and a
Prepare
Warlock
for
specifically who have that great counter initiation, with the Stone Gaze and the Golem, they also don't necessarily have the greatest follow-up to a Chronosphere, right? Where they don't got that, that Viper, for example, or whatever range core that's just nailing in damage when that Chronosphere is up. Ember Spear is not necessarily going to be doing that. So are these concerns for you, or is it really not that big of a deal?
See, a lot of the time I'm really concerned about Secret's drafts.
Okay.
And a lot of times I'm proven wrong.
Fair
So
enough.
I never want to count out what goes on their minds, but from what I understand, I think Secret's one of those teams that drafts kind of together, like where each player has their own say. Or at least that's what I've heard. I can't confirm that, but definitely like, if players feel that they see a good opportunity to pick weird things like
30
the mid
seconds to
Phoenix
left.
or the offlane Necro, like they do say so that as a drafter, having that kind of mindset, it can lead to a lot of situations where your heroes don't necessarily synergize or give you the win conditions that you need, or like you lack certain things. You're just kind of trying to counterpick the enemy. I'm not always a big fan of that, and for me, Secret does this quite a bit. So for Final Tribe, I definitely agree with you. Like they have great
battle
counter initiation for
begins.
the Void, and
Time is money.
yeah, like just looking on paper, I do like Final Tribe's draft, but you never know when it comes to Secret.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, personally, I always like to do that too, kind of just looking at the drafts, trying to not take the teams into consideration. And frankly, I do think this is somewhat evenly matched. Yes, Secret, the maybe slightly higher skill because of obviously their progress this season and everything, but this is a much more newly formed team in TFT, but still with players with plenty of experience. Point is, though, I agree with you there. It feels like TFT's draft is arguably a bit stronger across the board, but like you're talking about, the Secret's not afraid to try things, do a little bit different sometimes, and definitely make it work as well as they've proven time and time. In fact, we are seeing this, as you put it, classic IO Necrophos offlane coming out for
Yep.
Secret. How's it work? How's it going to work down here? Is this going to actually work pretty well?
Yeah, they can survive quite a bit. It's really hard for Slark because they don't have any disables. A Ghost Shroud into Teleport Scroll for the Necrolite pretty much guarantees that he will survive every single time unless he missteps or uses it a little bit early. Pretty much the IO just needs to watch out, get the levels he needs. He will fulfill his role. I do have to say, though, as much as we're talking about Final Tribe, it's extremely greedy to have both a Medusa and a Slark. These heroes are some of the most extreme late game heroes that you can pick together.
Good point,
And
yeah.
like Team Secret's lineup, the way they have to play, the way that it's engineered is that they're gonna have to play very fast to get a lot of kills and set a very high pace and tempo in this game. And as much as those heroes scale well into the late game, if they don't get to that point or if they get so disadvantaged, that could be a big issue. and that's kind of Secret's window here.
That's a good point. We are going to see a pause coming out from Era there. Oh. Apparently we had mouse issues in yesterday's series, all the games from TNC side, and now the final tribe are having the similar issues. But yeah, no, that is a great point though about the greed. Here, Slark and Medusa both definitely, and hell, even Death Prophet is not necessarily, you know, of course when she gets level 6, getting extras and pushing a tower is something that she can do. But it's going to be a bit of time before they want to really take fights on their side. So I'm sure Secret going to take that into consideration. With that in mind, especially Faceless Void. What kind of build do you expect of it? Is this going to be the Battle Fury game, or does he maybe go the early Mask of Madness, for example?
Well, he is the sole DPS on this lineup. It's kind of only between maybe 2 choices and maybe one more situational, I guess, which is either the Mask of Madness BKB or the Battle Fury, and then just kind of scale it up. I think either choice is fine, as he's the hard carry and there's no one really even remotely close to that role. So it's totally fine for him to go greed. Yeah, I mean, like, overall though, this lack of catch on the final tribe can be an issue. The Ember should have a pretty good game, and Ember is one of those heroes that can burst through the Slark if he chooses to use his Shadow Dance defensively. A lot of times you just triple Remnant on top and they will kill him, so Slark isn't going to have exactly the freest game, as well as we did talk about Void being able to Chronosphere him. So they will have to worry about Slark falling behind in the mid game, especially if Medusa can't really contribute. So I think Ember should have quite a good game. The Void, he can play fast if they want to just push the tempo, but I do think that he should just try to farm up and give him a win condition.
Well, right now, Ember Spirit is having that great start. Again, mid one, a very comfortable hero for him. He's 15-2 against Medusa's 11-1, so definitely having the better time. All the cores are actually farming pretty well. In fact, Slark is the worst off, and I mean, I can't say I'm really too surprised by that. Going up against that Io Necrophos, we talked about it. That no doubt is going to be a very annoying combo that he's dealing with, and clearly it's affecting the CS top lane. Almost diving the tower a bit, but with that win run, he'll be fine. However, he does take a couple of extra tower hits, but he does have a salve to heal up and be fine in the end. 3.5 minutes in, though, still no first blood. We're not even seeing the most action in this landing phase. It feels pretty passive overall at the start.
Yeah, it's kind of like bottom. They cannot kill Necro at all, so he will just have a free time of it. At mid lane, the Medusa is not really going to threaten Ember all too much, but Ember as well, until he's level 5 or 6, he can't really kill Medusa unless she steps out of position. He can also choose to, well, he's actually going on the mid lane, but
yeah,
nothing of it. He can actually use Sleight of Fist strategically to dodge the Mystic Snake, which is probably something he has been doing, I'm sure. And that is basically the only tool that Medusa has for harassing the lane opponent. So, of course, he's going to have a really good time. And he also picks the regen rune, which is quite nice. One of the good things about Void, though, at least for a carry, we did talk about how Venge is just such a bad laning support. Like, we're seeing a bit of that where, you know, he's not getting much support from Puppey, but at least, you know, he is played as an offlaner at times, and it's because Time Walk is just so nice for escaping and being a little elusive. Once he gets level 6, they're going to look to use Chrono on cooldown, potentially, and then just get a kill. That's probably their best bet here, but they just have to soak it up.
Right now, Death Prophet, so far the one that's doing the best on the Final Trap side. You do have Medusa also doing pretty good, but Jonas Fan off to that great start. Again, technically playing more of an offlane Death Prophet. You still expect to see that Yules build, though. Any reason why it would be any different here from a Death Prophet?
No, I think it's going to be like classic Yules, Blink Dagger, Aeon. Nothing different.
Ooh, Pablo. They're going at it. Somebody may die right here. The Shackle Shot does line up. Puppey gonna take some more auto attacks. So that the Magic Missile. Wave of Terror gets the first blood. The Power Shot comes out, but Puppey doing the damage in the end to secure that kill. He manned up right there. He knew that he had enough damage, and he was right in the end. Well played.
Yeah, that was well played. I think Pablo, he needed to line that Shackle Shot up so that he could Power Shot immediately. But it had 1 second remaining. He Shackle Shot a little bit early, and that was pretty much the reason why he went down. A little bit of misplay, but really nice for Puppey, recognizing he gave man fight. So this Slark, the good thing is that Slark is not the main carry. In a lot of ways, he's kind of the 2 position in this line. Well, he is the 2 position,
yeah,
100%. But you know, it's not a big deal that he's getting shut down because they counterpicked him to hell. He's gonna have our game regardless. It's all about the Medusa right now, so that's where the focus should be.
Speaking of, well, Sark again at the bottom lane. He's having trouble, as you
Radiant's
mentioned, but
bottom tower
Necrophos
is
on the
under
other side
attack.
having a fantastic time. And yet, similar question I ask you, Fluff, you know, in this case with Necrophos, not I always see often. What direction does he go, and you think? But I'll give you some more time to think about it, because we do have some possible action. Magic Missile in the backlines. Warlock, all of a sudden, he's being caught, and the orbs all just connecting in the face of Hanskin. The Shadow Word heal, I don't believe it's going to be enough. The Death Bolt comes out and will finish the job. Fata, credit for the kill right there. I'm getting a little low, but not low enough. Those Fatal Bonds,
Dire's top
not enough
tower
work
is under
in the
attack.
end. Top tower is going to be pressured,
Radiant's
however,
bottom tower
by
has
TFT.
fallen.
We get the bottom tower as well for Secret. I saw Yapsor. He was overcharging the catapult for quite a few seconds, which is really significant as the siege damage mid lane. Triple remnant.
Oh, that mana shield. Mid one's going to die. It's going to be a turn kill. Eric gets the kill. Warlock comes in. He's like, you know, you didn't even need me. He gets there, and he's going to maybe just heal him up a little bit, but also throws out the
Dire's
counter
middle
ward. But
tower
yeah,
is
mid
under
one going a
attack.
little bit too mainly there onto Medusa.
Top lane's getting pressured really hard.
Radiant
There's not
structures
much
are
that
fortified.
Void can do. Pablo should look to Shackle so he can set up.
Wow.
Don't get denied. Don't get denied.
Ooh, nice job.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
All right, so back
Power
to
shots, man.
Necro, right?
Yes.
I'm a really big fan of Necro getting Aghanims and just and like a Blink Dagger because look at top lane is happening.
Yeah, they're going to land the Shackle Shop onto Io, and will there be enough follow-up damage? Oh, looks like the siphons up. The Quipster goes through and gets the kill ace. He's going to time walk, heal up all that damage, and will survive, but good pressure from TFT at the top and taking out Yapsters.
Your place is here.
Yeah, it's really hard lane top. Just Venge cannot do anything whatsoever, so Void just gonna have to soak it up. But at least Necro's doing well.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh,
Puppy finds a
Top
kill,
lane.
though, on Pablo. Yeah, go figure. This game was so passive for so long. Now, all of a sudden, action starts picking up, and Warlock, it'll continue. The orb's all going to connect. Good placement from Yapster, and sets it up for mid one to finish the job. So you see Secrets moving around now as 4 heroes at least. Again, Fata, he's still at that bottom lane, pushing it in. Well, at least we have an early answer. He is going to go the Veil of Discord. Currently queued up mid one. Meanwhile, finds Death Prophet. This is a pretty significant kill for Secret, no doubt. We mentioned how Jonas was having a decent start. That'll slow things down a bit. Mid one also getting the double kill out of it, but back to the bottom lane, Fata's fine. He just TPs.
well, they actually have only one disable, which is the Shackle Shard now, and maybe Warlock Rock at some point. But that's gonna be a big problem. Necro could just easily farm, and this buys a lot of space for Ace now in top lane. Let's see what he does go. He has 1,200 gold. I feel like the Battle Fury is appropriate, but you know, it hasn't been nerfed for a little bit, so sometimes people have changed their build recently. I haven't seen a Void since that point,
Yeah.
but yeah, back to what I was saying, I was do this really fast. I think the Aghanim Scepter on Necro is really insanely broken. The cooldown gets reduced by a ton. It's just massive uptime. A lot of times you can use it two times in a fight, and putting people down for that long with the added respawn duration penalty is insane, and the stats are always nice for him as well.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even realize that. In 7.14, he did get that buff there to the respawn time. God, it's all the way up to, what was it, 45 seconds now? Yeah, 45 seconds at level 3. Even at level 1, though, I mean, it's 15 extra seconds. That can be very significant in the early game. So, looking forward to those Reaper Scythe kills, at least Secret is. And Fata in a great spot to do so far. Again, the Veil of Discord just around the corner. Going to go Blink next, it looks like. We'll see if that Axe comes along. Maybe it's going to be depending on the pace. I know, you know, Dagon is definitely possible, too, right? If he just really starts kicking off with that Blink Dagger, you could possibly see the Dagon come out.
It's possible, but I feel like he just wants to build items that will give him more HP overall. It's all about surviving in this game, and when you pop Ghost Shroud, a Magic Wand, and Death Pulse, a lot of times you just heal straight back to full, if not like 3/4. And that's when you reset the fight with the Reaper Scythe and just take over.
Yeah.
Pretty much, the way that I feel about this game right now is that Secret has a lot of advantage right now in terms of what they can do.
Well, Secret might lose Yapster, or maybe not. He's healing up, overcharged, going to go for the relocate, and yes, Yapster's will get away. Chronosphere off to the side. You see Necrophos trying to survive himself. Another Death Pulse going to be happening. They're going to take out Sark. Maybe no. Shadow Dance at the last second. He'll manage to survive. Power Shot goes through. So far, nobody dead. Yapster coming back in a couple of seconds, but Necrophos actually going to be run down. Jonas fan with that Exorcism as well as a Siphon finishing the job. Yapster connecting up to Puppy to get away, but now Medusa having to use the Stone Gaze. They do lose Pablo in the back. That's a support Wind Ranger. Mid one, double damage rune. They're going to look to chase down Houndskin, and number-wise, it's going to be in favor of Secret, but again, they lose Necrophos, who still technically is top farm in the game. So I think you could argue TFT winning that fight overall.
Kind of. The fact is that they had to use all 5 of the heroes for that rotation. I'm even surprised they went for that play to begin with. It would be an absolute disaster if mid one was even remotely close to that fight where he could react or TPs a bit earlier. Like, I was kind of alluding towards this before the fight broke out. I think
Dire's
Secret
middle tower is under
can basically
attack.
do anything they want right now. The way that I feel is that they have the heroes that have the most aggressive abilities, where Final Tribe, the way that they set up kills, it has to be so complicated, and a lot of times they have to bring like large numbers using smokes. Secret has the mobility. It's very hard to lock down this Ember in particular, and he's gonna, like I said, he's gonna have a free game. But what they should do is they're just gonna play very aggressively around this Ember, and I feel like TFT has to just be dodging that the entire time until Medusa or Sork is strong enough to fight.
Well, Ember Spirit does say level 10. He went the bots first for his item of choice, so the mobility kicking in. And actually coming to the top lane, Frost nearby, going to lash the creep camp, now running away. Hanskin also here has a Katic offering. Oh, this is dangerous play. Warlock's going to run forward. Sark's just going to keep on going back. The question is, will they look to turn on the mid one? You did stress, though, that they do lack the lockdown. However, Silence, oh, never mind. Death Prophet doesn't have it yet. So they don't even have that, and there's the Remnant out quickly from mid one. So it seemed like TFT was definitely setting up to try to make a play, but yeah, without Shackle Shot nearby, she was running over. Not in time, though. That is going to prove to be an issue. And so items, what? Like, I guess Scythe eventually wouldn't be bad, but that's, of course, going to be a while, and who gets that even in this game? So we need something, though.
Their lineup is so greedy. I have to wonder if they felt that Sark was so countered, because, like, I can definitely see that where you feel like, okay, this game is very hard for Sark to carry us. This game, but just pick another carry. But they did snap pick it, so it might have been their strategy.
Sark's
we
out.
swapped in mid lane. DP's out, yeah.
Oh, nice job.
Dire are scanning.
I feel like any single fight that Secret takes, they will win it hands down, unless something terribly happens.
They want to take a fight right here. Mid one going in. Remember, Katic offering is running great shackle on 2 heroes. So TP attempt not going to work out. Both Wind Ranger and Warlock will fall. However, the Dire Courier gets picked off. And that was both a Veil and a Drums finish for the team. So that's a little bit of tempo lost from Team Secret as far as these next couple of minutes go. Unfortunate for them, but again, getting 2 support kills. And also, what do you see, Fluff? Faceless Void is going to Mask of Madness. So speaking of tempo, he wants an item that will be more useful in the game right now, right, than compared to that Battle Fury for the late game.
I mean, if you can avoid it and you could take fights and pressure them with their lineup being so greedy, it makes a lot of sense to go for that line of thought. Like, you know, why let this Medusa farm when you can just group up as 5? They have these 2 greedy heroes on their core positions. Like, you could probably take over the game if you bring your 5 heroes to every fight.
Speaking of Mask of Madness, Medusa has hers. That's probably more expected, and she's going to actually take out I want to say that's a quad stack of Ancients even that she's working at, so great progress, and she actually takes over the top net worth in the game as a result of doing that. Necrophos, of course, talked about the Veil. Again, he's been working on it for a while, but going to be delayed another minute 45. There's a recipe currently on that Courier. Whose drums were those? But was that Vengeful? Okay, yeah, Puppies. And the Vengeful.
He's really fat.
Yeah, he is.
Look at bottom. They smoke Void, and they can just relocate the Necro in, so they will have the 5v5 they want. They will outnumber every single time here.
Bounty Runes, 15-minute spawn. You see Secret. Runes!
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Puppy will pick up the ones over here, so good control from Team Secret. Frost, they really want him killed. He does have Shadow Dance, however, and once again, maybe, that relocate you're talking about, Chronosphere will come in as well, and Warlock ran right into it. No Chaotic Offering as a result. Do they have the follow-up damage on the Sark, though? Can he maybe pounce away the Dark Pack? He's going to be firing now. The 5-man Chaotic Offering, then Power Shot through with those Fatal Bonds. Ace is like, I'm out of here, guys. I'm not going to make a play. They get the initiation on a Warlock. They will finish him off as well as Sark, but now the Exorcism is here. Medusa's currently farming middle lane, so she's not going to be assisting. Fata manages to TP out in time, and Team Secret, it looks scary there for a second with that 5-man Chaotic Offering. But they managed to get the both kills, and everyone actually escapes in the end. Arrow will push the middle tier 1. A little bit of positive there for TFT, but definitely some solid play from Secret.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been so much worse, but they do use the Chaotic Offering, so this is another go time for Secret. I don't think they would ever let go of the throttle, but You know, right now, like everyone on Secret's very farm. Like the IO has Helmet Dominator, Urn, Puppy has his drum on the courier. One thing that I do want to bring up, which is kind of funny, is that Puppy is notorious, and on every single duo he's been with, like Yapsor with Kuro, he's notorious for not buying wards. And in that situation on the bottom lane, if they did have a ward where they smoked and saw the Medusa, they would have just cleanly wiped that entire engagement. It's kind of funny, he doesn't really buy them.
Death Prophet, that's, I want to say, our first Reaper Scythe we've actually seen this game. And, oh my god, she's dead for 1 full minute at 16 and a half minutes into the game. That's what we're talking about. Because that is the level 2 Reaper Scythe now, so that's 30 seconds extra. What would have been 30 seconds since it's at 60 seconds. That's pretty ridiculous. Helm of the Dominator, by the way, picked up on IO as well. And we've seen this combination before, especially in a lot of these pub games. You know, you tether up to the creep, you move extra fast. Medusa, they will kill up the Centaur. The middle tower does go down. Mid one last hit credit, though, in favor of Secret. You can tell Secret's really getting that tempo, that word we keep going back to, Fluff. It's definitely kicking in high gear now. 5,000 net worth lead. It feels like they're playing this right.
Yeah, I mean, they are. But, you know, Void with Massive Madness being your only physical DPS, it's going to be hard for them to take objectives until he gets a little bit more farm. So there is going to be a little buffer for TFT to just continue farming. The Medusa is farming very well. So, you know, the hero that does need to be performing well is. So we just have to make sure that Medusa is having a good game and just continue her, just getting her timings correct.
Ember Spirit just going to say hello, but no, he wants to say goodbye quickly. Mid one took a lot of damage right there against Medusa, maybe more than he thought he would. But bottom tier 2, it's going to be killed off. Again, TFT just not in a spot to fight. It just goes back to the idea of how greedy this lineup is. Chaotic Offering, still 10 more seconds before off cooldown. So at least Hanskin will have it in a second. But Slark has a Shadow Blade. Something I want to go back to as well before that fight took place recently. You were mentioning about the ward game from TFT. Or I guess more so from Secret. Having a Slark, though, could obviously make that a little more difficult with that Shadow Dance passive. And I think we've already seen that come into play a couple of times with some counter warding even. But top lane, they're warding in. Necrophos at least wants to. Again, he's not scared. The swap out, they go for Codasphere with the Chaotic Offering actually hits. Codasphere does eventually come out. Hits actually 4 heroes, including Slark and Medusa, but the Stone Gaze in response. Puppy's getting low. They do kill off Death Prophet. Frosty's running in with the Shadow Dance. So far, DP's the only one dead. Here comes Ember Spirit. Another double damage room picked up. Both supports going to fall as a result, and he wants more damage. He's going to keep going forward. Searing Chains in 1 second. All that mana's gone, though, thanks to the Mystic Snake. But Era, I don't think he's getting out of this one. This is going to be his first death of the game. They already used the Reaper Scythe, but they get the kill. That's what matters. A 4-0 for Secret. 8,000 net worth lead now after that fight. And maybe Roshan's looking juicy now.
Yeah, they can definitely try. I mean, this is one of those cases where you just run in and see if you can do it. And if you feel like you don't have enough DPS, you just back out. Like sometimes with all the changes to Roshan, sometimes pros don't really know exactly how quickly it goes down. But in this situation, DP and Medusa are not coming up. They look like they have enough DPS here, so they will get the Aegis. The only reason why that fight even went remotely well for TFT was because of a really nice silence from the Death Prophet. He did silence Puppy, who was going to go for a swap and put heroes in a really bad position. And that bought them enough time to drop the Rock and the Shackle on top, which did get them a kill. However, I do not think TFT should be taking any fight. Secret has so much pressure in this game.
Yeah, so it's hindsight a little bit, but again, you have really been talking about that, so it's not even necessarily that. It's why is TFT even pushing like that as a team all the way to a tier 2 tower. They still need bigger and better items, specifically on the Medusa. Again, Slark is right now just sitting with that Shadow Blade. He is trying to work towards an Echo Saber, but the Shadow Blade came later than he would have liked already. Top lane, Yonasan fan is going to manage to run away in time. Pablo, though, maybe he's going to sacrifice himself to help his teammate win. Run coming out, but Puppy's like, I got a magic missile for you. The orbs finish the job. Yapsor, credit for the kill. And, you know, I love seeing this Helm of the Dominator, too, because, like I said, it's not only decent synergy with Ion and Tether Target if he wants, but it's a great R to have. And they relocate to the middle lane. They get the kill on Warlock off the bat. Era, he's popping the Stone Gauge, just hoping to run out, channels the TP, and it will be in time. Ace running in, no Chronosphere. Maybe hoping for a bash, but wasn't to be. Actually escapes in the end. But, again, Secret keeps momentum going. So what is the item that TFT's waiting for? Like, is it Medusa getting 6 slotted essentially? Is that the game plan here?
Yeah, it's not necessarily an item. There's no BKB timing or anything. It is just them holding out until those cores get really fat. I mean,
Radiant's
the
top
best timing they
tower is under
possibly would
attack.
have would be like maybe a butterfly, a Medusa is one they could push out, because if there's no MKBs, that she would have really good timing there.
Radiant's top tower
But
has
yeah,
fallen.
overall, they just have to hold out and not take fights until it gets to the late game, and potentially even lose 1 Rax. The Necrolite is going for Radiance, and he has completed it, so that's the item in question. So, you know, Fada likes
Radiant's
to play
top
these.
tower is under
He likes to
attack.
play very greedy on a lot of his heroes, so not really surprised by this choice. It's just personal preference for him. I do think that a lot of the reason why the secret lineup can even get this much momentum is just because of how greedy TFT is. So I'm not really sure if that would go down well in a normal game, but
Yeah.
definitely in this game you can play as greedy as you want. It's gonna go late. They don't have the damage to really run up into the high ground until the void's really fat.
We didn't talk too much about this yet, but Maelstrom, the item of choice for Ember Spirit, he's going to go right into a Mjolnir. After the fact, the Chronosphere catches too. Warlock once again part of that, as well as Death Prophet. The Reaper's side finishes Death Prophet. Again, she's dead for a minute. No Chaotic Offering because Warlock's dead. And Wind Ranger off to the side also got picked off. Necrophos has that Radiance, by the way, as that fight initiated. And yeah, we were talking about the idea of an Ags, and maybe it's something overlooked. I know you're stressing the idea of IO when he was picked up. Again, that level 15 talent, he does bring the Ags to his teammates, so as long as he's tethered up, then Necrophos, hell, even Faceless Void could benefit from that with the Chronosphere, of course. So it's going to be interesting to see that come into play.
Even Ben, for that matter. That's just kind of funny.
Oh,
Top lane.
okay. Now, mid one's like, guys, I'm going to go kill him top lane real quickly. That just happened.
Yeah, this is... I
Upheaval.
mean, when you pick heroes like this, there's 3-2-2, by the way.
Yeah. It's a time to concede. For TF, no. Just kidding.
No, not yet.
Secret's going to fall back, but already done.
I mean, it's
plenty.
not one of the games where you get run over and you're like, you have no hope anymore. It's like, definitely they can scale into this game. Definitely they have two very strong carry heroes. You know, they can't afford to lose 1 Rax. So it's definitely come back from that. Even two lanes if it gets that long. And we do know TFT has they love going late game. Like, they've had so many, mega creeps on them types of games that we've casted. So definitely used to it.
Jonas, he's in trouble once again. Relocated, but the Chaotic Offering will come out this time. Necrophos, he's going to pop that Ghost Shroud. They lose Isle, though, and Necrophos starting to melt away to the Exorcism. He goes down, actually. Arrow's here to assist. Ember Spirit's going to go for the TP play. He does have a Remnant nearby, but that would be a pretty ballsy play on his part. Vengeful Spirit pushing out mid. You got Faceless Void bottom lane. Hey, you see the sorry coming out from Yapster. Clearly, that was one of those relocates where at the second it hit, they're like, ah, crap, this is a bad decision. Suck in the Warlock ultimate. Good turn. That's what TFT needs, though. The more that they can kind of slow down Secret from truly pushing in their base, as you've been stressing. I mean, again, this is what TFT needs to be doing by the time for Medusa to get those 6-slot items. Faceless?
Top lane Chrono.
Yeah, is that a kill? It's going to be close. Oh, he doesn't have Shadow Dance. Never mind.
Oh.
No Shadow Dance, no getaway.
Strike, strike, strike.
Well, and normally we don't like to see Lincoln Sphere on Medusa just because it slows down her timing so much, but she's forced in this game, absolutely forced, because there's a Vengeful, which is why I mentioned it's so good against her. Even aggressively, if they're knocking on their doorstep, they swap in the Medusa, she's out of position, then they'll chrono the rest of the team running in, and then even just chronoing the Medusa to stop the Stone Gaze. A lot of times she's just in such a compromised position where she can't even do any damage. She'll just blow up.
Never refuse
Level 15
school.
IO. He is tethered up to Necrophos right now. So currently that cooldown will be all the way down to 25 seconds at level 3 right now. 40 seconds anyways. They're going for Medusa. She pops the Stone Gaze, however. Lincoln's was activated. Arrows still taking some good damage. They have that Reaper Scythe. Can he get in range? Yes, they can. Out comes the Reaper Scythe. 100 seconds. No buyback for Medusa. Death Prophet does get picked up as well. She does have a buyback, but Exorcism still on cooldown for 35. This is very likely going to be the base being siege. Pablo's just up here getting picked off in the meanwhile. Thanks to the win, or thanks to mid one. And they're at least getting the middle set of racks. Possibly more. Medusa's dead for 80 seconds still.
No buybacks. This is at least 2.
Radiant's middle barracks has fallen.
Gonna go
Radiant's
Bonnet.
middle barracks
Because why
has
not?
fallen.
BKB on Faceless Void just in case now. Ember Spirit did finish the full Mjolnir. And Necrophos sitting comfortably with that Radiant still.
Radiant's bottom
And there's that
tower
overcharge
has
on Faceless
fallen.
Void on top of everything.
Radiant's
So, yeah,
bottom
definitely
barracks
bottom set
are
of
under
racks.
attack.
I mean, hell, did they just... well, they can't go the top one because there's a tier 2 tower. Probably just going to retreat from here. Maybe wait for another Roshan and then try to finish the game from there is probably the overall game plan from
Radiant's
Secret.
bottom barracks has fallen.
They can. Now all they need to do really is just play around topside, ward it up, deward, make sure that Jonas can't walk out, or I mean TFT can't walk out at all. And then if they get any pickoff whatsoever with a swap, which is really easy, that's just a high ground again.
Radiant's bottom shrine is under attack.
Slark is, frankly, and you know, I'm somebody that I have history with Frost. He used to be known as Nox back in the Han days. Notoriously one of the best farming players in the Han days, and for TFT, he's actually been a player that has shined, I feel like, in their recent success. He's been basically useless this game. He's 0-3-2 on Slark as your safe lane carry. It's been pretty horrific. It kind of goes back to the makeup, though, and overall greed as well. Because, right, you know, he hasn't really had heroes. I mean, Warlock support's not somebody you're roaming around with to get kills either. It's kind of a funky Slark game.
Yeah, I think when they were in that position in the draft, they did intend for Slark to be their hard carry, but after seeing what Secret reacted with, I think I feel like they couldn't, and maybe the only reason why I don't think it's them panicking was because they snap picked that Medusa so quickly, but I just can't stand behind that strategically as it's just way too greedy. I mean, it's kind of like having, it's not as bad as having like an anti-mage and a Spectre on the same team, but it's pretty close.
To teach.
It's just like both of these heroes rely on their team to create space for them so that they can, you know, ideally even Slark, his best timing is level 25, where he gets that plus 120 essence shift. He can't even get to this point whatsoever.
Oh boy, top lane. This could be a final fight if it goes very well for Secret. You see Remnant out from mid 1. They may reset this now. TFT, I don't think they realize Chronosphere on 3 different heroes. Ace just going to run in BKB. Takes out Wind Ranger. He's going to go for Warlock. No chaotic offering as a result once again. Medusa just locked down the whole time. Fata, he's busy dealing with the Death Prophet. A Reaper Sides will not get the kill. However, she's staying dead. They kill everyone, including Slark. Wind Ranger does buy back immediately, but you can kind of see that coming a mile away, at least from our perspective. I was going to say, and I'm pretty sure GG is in the mind, at least, from the final tribe. So game 1 will go the way of Secret. Great performance from them. Out-draft, outplayed. It was just everything across the board.
Yeah, I mean, didn't really have too much of a game. TFT, I guess not really understanding the strategy overall that they need to play under. They took a lot of fights in the early and mid games, specifically that bottom fight, and then also tier 2 top, where they forced the fight of Secret, where, you know, there's basically no way that they win that unless there's a mistake happening or they get really lucky. They need to play this far more slowly and just split the map. But overall, just way too greedy. I want to see them play up to Secret's pace here. Secret, you know, no hard carry whatsoever, Void. They are just looking to fight.
Yeah, I would. It's one of those games I would definitely like to kind of talk with. I don't know if Hanskin's their drafter. He used to be, at least. I think Era might be the drafter now, but
Jonas was drafted. Was
Jonas? Okay, wow. I think they swap around then, but either way, the point is, talk to whoever it was and be like, so what was the idea of the Medusa? Why were they so confident? Because, yeah, again, you look across the board, that forced a offlane Death Prophet. You then have a Medusa Slark combo that we've talked about it plenty already, and so not to reiterate it too much, but it just felt way over the top greedy. And on the other side of the spectrum, again, props to Secret. Not only picking up on that, but executing appropriately. Look at Puppy, by the way. It's not often Puppy finishes a game with 0 deaths, but he went 5-0-15 on Vengeful Spirit. That was a successful game for him, and again, everyone on Secret across the board. So, Fluff, we're going to take that break, though. We got game number 1 in the books for Secret versus the Final Tribe. We'll see. It starts with the draft, and right now, game 1 at least definitely going the way of Secret. For the first one. But game number 2 going to be happening after a short break. Again, you're tuning into the China Supermajor coverage here on stream number 4.